Hello, friends! Welcome to the How to Play video for the Sweet Set collecting game Cover Your Cookies from Grandpa Beck's Games. Throughout the game, players will be creating different batches of cookies for points, or, as we cookie enthusiasts call them, dough. However, you will have to defend your batch of sweet treats from your opponents, who will attempt to swipe and add them to their collection. Your goal is to have the most dough to win the game. Before we set up the game, let's go over some key terms to help us along the way. First, we have cookies. These tasty treats are what you need to win the game. Each cookie card has its very own dough or point value in its corners. You can't have cookies without a glass of milk. Milk cards are wild cards that help you create a batch of cookies when you do not have a matching cookie to create a batch. Both have their own value of dough as well, with chocolate being the more valuable one since it's, a little sweeter. Batches are collections of two or more of the same cookie card that you create to get points. You can also use the milk cards to help complete your batch. When you create a batch of cookies, you will put them in front of you in your stack. Every time you make a new batch, place it the opposite way of the last batch you made. This will help keep all your batches well organized. Throughout the game, you will come across these mixer cards. These are action cards that will really help shake up the game. Lastly, we have the crumb collector. This will help keep track of extra points you gain when your opponents swipe a batch from you. At least they leave a little crumb behind. To set up the game, pass out a crumb collector card and cookie token to each player. The dealer will then take out all 8 cards with the mixer icon, set them aside, and shuffle the deck. Each player will then be dealt 5 cards apiece. Then, split the deck into 2 equal-ish piles and shuffle the mixer cards into one of the decks. Once the mixer cards are shuffled in, put the other deck on top of the deck with the mixer cards and place it in the middle of the table. This will be your draw pile. Next, flip over the top card of the deck to create the discard pile. The player who last ate a cookie gets to go first. On your turn, you can take one of the following 3 actions. Start a batch of cookies, attempt to steal a batch of cookies, or discard a card and draw a card from the deck. Playing batches of cookies is one of the main ways to score points in Cover Your Cookies. A player can make a batch in the following ways: by pairing 2 identical cookie cards from their hand, pairing a cookie card from their hand with an identical one in the discard pile, or by pairing a milk card with a cookie card from their hand or the discard pile and placing the cookie on top. There are 2 limitations when it comes to creating batches. A player cannot create a batch with more than 2 cards. Remember, a batch is a set of cookie cards, and a batch cannot be created with 2 milk cards. You always need at least 1 cookie card to create the batch. On your first turn, if you are not able to play a batch successfully, you may play 1 card for your first batch. This is the one and only time you can create a batch with 1 cookie card. As you continue to create batches, stack them in alternating fashion, upright and sideways. If you make a batch of the same type of cookie that's on top of your stack, they are considered a new batch and should be placed as so. Now that's a sweet stack. Another action you could choose to take is attempting to swipe the top batch of cookies from another player and add it to your stack. Very sneaky. Each player's first batch of cookies is safe, but If a player has 2 or more batches, the top is up for grabs. To challenge a player, play a cookie card from your hand that matches the batch of cookies you are trying to steal, or play a milk card next to the batch. The defending player may also play a matching cookie or milk card to try to keep their stack. Play continues back and forth until one player cannot, or chooses not to, play a cookie or milk card. The winner adds all the cards played to their stack with the cookie cards on top. Side note, regular and chocolate milk do not outrank each other or the other cookies. They are just worth different amounts of dough at the end of the game. If you are the unlucky one to have your cookies swiped, you get the opportunity to pick up some crumbs. Each time you lose a challenge, you get to move up one spot on your crumb collector card and earn some dough at the end of the game. Even defeat can be a little sweet. Your final action you can take is discarding a card to the discard pile and drawing a card. If you cannot create any new batches or do not want to challenge another player, this is the only option for your turn. When you complete one of the 3 available actions, draw cards one by one from the top of the deck until you have 5 cards in your hand. If another player defended their batch this turn, they will draw up to 5 cards after you finish. If a mixer card is drawn, stop drawing cards and play it immediately. Mixer cards are action cards that are played immediately and resolve before a player continues to draw cards at the end of their turn. There are 4 different mixer cards in the deck with some scrumptious abilities that will surely sweeten up the gameplay for you. Let's go over what they do. The Rotate card is one that involves everyone at the table. Each player will take their top batch and place it on their neighbor's stack. The direction is determined by the player who drew the card. Every player who has 1 or more batches must participate. When the Enhance card is drawn, it is placed onto your top batch and adds a whopping 30 points to it. Though this is good for you, it may make swiping that batch by other players more enticing. The Swap card allows you to force any 2 players to swap the top batch of their stack with the other players. You cannot include yourself in this action. Finally, we have the Exchange card. Time to get chaotic in the kitchen. When the Exchange card is drawn, each player will blindly take a card from the player's hand to their left or their right as determined by the Mixer card. If a player has no cards in their hand, they are excluded from this action. After the Mixer card has been played, it is then discarded out of the game to the Mixer discard pile. The player who drew the Mixer card continues to draw cards until they have 5 cards in their hand, and play passes to the next player to their left. Once the deck is depleted, play continues until everyone has played all the cards in their hands. If a player cannot make a new batch of cookies or challenges another player, they may add a matching cookie card to the top batch of their stack. This action can only be done once the deck has fully run out of cards. If a player cannot take these actions, they discard a card and pass their turn. Once every card has been played or discarded, we go to scoring. Each player adds up all the cards from their stack and crumb collector card to see how much dough they earned. A little tip from Grandma Beck: organize your cards in piles of 100 points to help make counting easier. The player with the most dough claims their victory. Well, friends, that's our delectable little game. If you're looking for some advanced options to play the game, crack open the rulebook and give a look at some fun scoring and rule variants to the base game. We hope you make some sweet memories playing Cover Your Cookies. Until next time!